Hi everyone, Blake Jones here, and in this episode of How Do You Do That, the use of color management in DaVinci Resolve has been so simplified and it makes it so easy. Most people are generally using just DaVinci YRGB under the color science, but there is so much more possibilities and it makes it so much easier for you to use YRGB Color Managed. And so what we're going to do now is have a look at the use of color management in DaVinci Resolve Studio 17. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be focusing on the color management section of DaVinci Resolve. So in order to do that, I'm going to come down here to my project settings, come over to color management area, click here, and as you can see here, I'm selected to DaVinci YRGB as a color science, Rec 709 Gamma 2.4, which is very standard. And this is what people are generally used to working at here. Now if I close this and look inside, you can see here we've got all of our various clips in the project. And you can see here that it's pretty much all of it is all log files, as you can see, because the lift is up a bit, gain is down. You can see there it's all compressed. Now, when you're working with DaVinci YRGB, you could conceivably also add a lookup table in to try to compensate for this. In order to do this, come to your LUT area here, film to Rec 709. So as you can see here, improves the picture and does it. But by using color management, we can actually go one step further by coming back to our project settings, coming back to color management, and changing this now to YRGB Color Managed. So this is the user-definable color management tools that are now within DaVinci Resolve. So when I select this, now what they've done here is they've added a really useful section. So you can see if you just want to work in SDR, you can just select SDR, making sure that automatic color management is checked, and then it will automatically set you up for SDR, or you can set up for HDR, for example. And then you have your output color space. Now to explain exactly what's going on here, whereas the when you've got your input device transform and your output device transform, which is your output color space, you can actually, we come back to the node graph area. Because as you can see here, we have our one node and we have a input and we have our output. So if I take this off like so, as you can see, the picture does not change at all. So if I select DaVinci YRGB Color Managed, making sure that automatic color management is checked, select SDR, select my output color space for Rec 709, and once we click Save, you'll notice that the picture now changes. And I don't even have a node here in the node graph area. By selecting here YRGB Color Managed, SDR, coming out Rec 709, as you can see what it's doing, it's reading everything from the metadata in the files and bringing it through. It's even before I have put any nodes into the node graph area. Now what happens next is, this is my output area. So this is telling me exactly, this is the output device transform, this is the input device transform. Okay, so now once we've got this inside, as you can see here, everything has a nice grade on it now. And then I can add my node into the picture, and then I can come over and start my grade. And then I can come over and grade it as I like for this. So it makes it so much easier to work with. Now what happens is that occasionally you will run into shots like as you can see, here's some H.264 and 265 files. Okay, these do not are not reading any of that information across. There's no metadata, of course, naturally, with that. You could assign it for the camera if you wanted to, but this is not necessary here. As you can see, it's reading it through automatically as a linear file, but it makes it that much easier to work with. Now, the thing too that also is wonderful with this is that if we come back to color management, and if you say later on that you want to make a HDR version of this, you can then come over here and simply change to HDR, and then change your color space, and then change your output for HDR PQ, for example. And then what you can do next is then you just change your monitor over to HDR mode, and then do a trim pass for the grade on it. The other thing too, which you can do here, is your color processing mode. If you disable automatic color management, then you have the ability here in this area where you can select all the different flavors for SDR and HDR in this area. But as you can see, it makes grading so much easier. So basically, essentially all you have to do is come over and come to this area, select YRGB Color Management, then select your processing mode, whether it's SDR or HDR, your output color space, and then automatically then your metadata is being read directly across. And this is before you've actually launched any nodes into the node graph area. So you'll actually get a very clean color correction by doing it this way, and it makes it so much easier to do a grade when you're working on it like so. Now, what is important to remember is when you're going to use the color managed workflow, this has to be decided at the beginning of the job. You can't change back and forth during the project because you'll see a shift in color. So you have to start with it and then continue it all the way through to the end. And it's as simple as that. So there we have it. So for more information about training services, have a look in the comments below. And for more tips and tricks, don't forget to have a look at my other videos. Think about subscribing. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And also think about becoming a Patreon member. There are a lot of great perks there. And I hope to see you soon, and have a great day.